If in the next 30 seconds you don't feel that something inside you recognizes this message, you can skip the video. Thoth, the architect of destiny, ensured that only those who are ready to see the impossible happen would find this calling. I'm not going to tell you what the impossible is yet. First, I'm going to prove to you that the attraction mechanism is already active within you. Stop for a moment. Think about the biggest obstacle in your life right now. Feel its weight. Now, close your eyes and instead of asking for a solution, simply declare silently, "The order behind the chaos is revealing itself to me now." Take a deep breath. Feel the small change, the lightness, the sensation that you are no longer fighting alone. There, you have just aligned yourself with the force that moves the universe. You've already received the first delivery, proof that your intention instantly changes your state. Now I'm going to show you how your failures were, in fact, the building block of a secret key. Later, I'll reveal the first visible signs the universe will send you in the next 24 hours to confirm that the change has begun. And only at the end, when you understand the complete mechanism, will the impossible become not only clear but inevitable. If you feel this call is for you, comment now. I am ready to see the truth. Stay with me, because each part of this video is a step. Skipping a step causes everything to crumble. Let's begin. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. This moment is not a coincidence, a simple accident of the algorithm. If you are here listening to these words, it is because a force far older and more precise than any technology moved the circumstances so that this encounter could happen. Think of it as cosmic mathematics, an equation that was solved so that you are exactly here, now. In the wisdom of ancient Egypt, there was an entity called Thoth, the scribe of the gods. He was not only the inventor of writing, but the master of time, knowledge, and destiny, the guardian of universal order. Tradition dictates that Thoth's wisdom is not for everyone. It is not revealed out of curiosity, but out of readiness. His message only finds those who have reached a crucial turning point in their journey, a moment when the soul is ready to receive instruction capable of altering the course of reality. Therefore, his presence here is not an accident, it is a summons. It is a sign that something within you has reached the right frequency to hear what needs to be said. What is about to be revealed is not for your logical mind seeking proof, but for that deeper part of you, your intuition, which already senses that something great is about to happen. What you need to understand is that the universe operates with impeccable precision. Every person you've met, every challenge you've faced, every joy and every pain, everything was part of a preparation. Nothing was in vain. Now, at this very moment, you have reached the point of convergence where all the lines of your past meet to give meaning to your future. Thoth's message is the catalyst, the missing piece that allows the puzzle of your life to begin to make sense in a way you never imagined. And the first clue to putting this puzzle together isn't in some distant mystical secret, but in something much closer, your own past. Every event you labeled as bad, every failure, every disappointment holds a fragment of the truth you need to move forward. They weren't mistakes, they were lessons in disguise. And it's by looking at them in a new way that you'll find the first thread to unravel the code that governs your reality. Now, let's look back, but not with regret. Look at your history, at every door that closed in your face, every relationship that ended, every job opportunity that didn't work out. Think about each time you felt behind others, as if you were running on a treadmill while everyone else moved forward. The human mind has a name for this: failure, loss, bad luck. But in the wisdom that orchestrates the universe, these events are merely part of a much larger and more intelligent script, a divine calligraphy that can only be understood in retrospect. Nothing, absolutely nothing on your journey was wasted. Every detour that seemed to lead you away from your goal was, in fact, the universe forcing you to develop a skill or strength you didn't possess. Every no you heard was protecting you from a path that wasn't yours, or preparing you for a much greater yes that was yet to come. You were being trained on the battlefield of life, and preparing for a great victory is always the longest and quietest part of the journey. You weren't being punished, you were being sculpted. Think about the most difficult moments, those you thought you wouldn't overcome. The pain of loss, the humiliation of failure, the anguish of uncertainty. What you considered your greatest traumas were in fact data points. Each of these events contained crucial information about you, about your limits, your desires, and your true power. They form a secret code. And when you learn to decipher this code, your greatest weaknesses reveal themselves as the source of your greatest strength. This is the great illusion, believing that life should be a straight line without obstacles. But a river only gains strength because of the stones that divert its course. A tree only develops deep roots because it needs to withstand the wind. In the same way, your challenges were not sent to destroy you, but to strengthen you. They were pieces of a key, and each time you overcame one, you found another piece. Now, all the pieces are with you, ready to be assembled. You're about to understand how each of these failures connects, how that job loss forced you to discover a talent you didn't know you had, how that painful breakup taught you about self-love in a way that happiness never could, how that period of scarcity forced you to be creative and resilient. These aren't isolated events of bad luck. They are the steps on a ladder you were building without realizing it. A ladder that leads you out of the basement of your old life. The door that this key opens is no ordinary door. It's the entrance to a new perception of reality, where you stop being a victim of circumstances and become the architect of your journey. But to turn this key, it's not enough to simply understand the past. You need to perceive a subtle and powerful change that is already happening within you. At this very moment, a silent recalibration that is preparing you for what comes next. The silent change that has already begun within you. The key you've pieced together from your past can only be used because something fundamental has already changed within you. The great transformation you long to see in the world around you, whether in your career, finances, or relationships, doesn't begin outside. It has a secret point of origin, your inner universe. And this change has already begun. It's a silent process, almost imperceptible to the restless mind, but your soul feels it clearly. At this very moment, a spiritual recalibration is underway. Think of your life as a ship guided by an internal compass. For a long time, that compass may have been out of whack, pointing in directions that weren't truly yours. You followed maps others drew for you, sought treasures others said were valuable, and sailed seas that weren't yours. The result was a constant feeling of exhaustion and not belonging. Now, that compass is being adjusted. It's slowly turning to point toward your true north, your most authentic purpose. That's why suddenly things that once seemed extremely important begin to lose their luster. Goals you pursued diligently now seem empty. People and environments where you struggled to fit in begin to feel uncomfortable, and you feel a natural urge to distance yourself. Don't fight it. This isn't loss. It's your spirit cleansing itself. It's the universe removing what no longer vibrates at your new frequency to make room for what is truly yours. Hermetic wisdom, often associated with Thoth, has a fundamental principle: as within, so without. The world you experience is not an objective and fixed reality. It is a perfect mirror of your inner state. For the external scenario to change, for prosperity, love, and peace to manifest, your vibration, your fundamental energy needs to change first. And that is exactly what is happening now. You are undergoing a silent system upgrade. This change isn't noisy. It doesn't come with trumpets or announcements. It manifests as a new clarity, a peace you haven't felt in a long time, or a sudden lack of interest in dramas and conflicts that previously consumed your energy. It's the veil of illusion thinning, allowing you to begin to see things as they truly are, not as your conditioned mind interpreted them. Your eyes are being cleansed so they can see what has always been there, but was hidden. This internal recalibration is the prerequisite for all external manifestation. The universe was just waiting for you to reach this new frequency, and now that you are on it, you become a magnet for experiences, people, and opportunities that are aligned with your new self. But this transformation was only possible because of a previous process, a painful but necessary process that transformed the raw material of your pain into the gold of your power. This inner transformation didn't come from nowhere. It was forged in fire. Thoth, like the great alchemist, teaches that true magic isn't about creating something from nothing, but about transforming one substance into another. The art of transforming lead into gold. In this spiritual process, lead isn't a metal, but the weight of every adversity you've carried. Every tear, every feeling of abandonment, every night you wondered if you could go on. This wasn't punishment. It was the raw material for your transformation. Consider the process of forging a sword. Raw metal is subjected to extreme heat, hammered repeatedly, plunged into cold water, and the process is repeated until it becomes strong, sharp, and resilient. Your soul has undergone a similar process. What seemed like a series of defeats and suffering was, in fact, divine forging. The pain was not sent to break you, but to shatter the illusions that kept you weak. The uncertainty was not meant to confuse you, but to force you to find certainty within yourself. You are not the same person who entered this cycle of challenges. The version of you that existed before this journey wouldn't have the strength to handle what the future holds. You needed to be broken to be rebuilt in a more powerful way. The true magic of spiritual alchemy is not avoiding the fire, but learning to dance with it, to use its energy to burn away what is not essential and purify what is. You didn't survive your pain, you used it as fuel. And now, this new inner substance you carry, this resilience, this wisdom, this compassion that can only be born from suffering, has become a magnet. Your vibrational frequency has changed. You no longer vibrate at the frequency of the victim, but at that of the creator. And the universe, which responds to vibration and not to desire, begins to send you experiences that correspond to this new energetic signature. What once seemed unattainable is now naturally attracted to you. Pain wasn't the end of your story. It was the tool that sculpted the hero you needed to become. It gave you depth, it gave you empathy, and most importantly, it showed you what you're made of. You discovered a strength you didn't know you possessed because you'd never been tested to this extent. Now, that strength isn't just a survival memory, it's an active power you can use to build the reality you desire. The cycle of trials is drawing to a close, the forge's fire is dying down, and what remains is the pure gold of your essence. But for this new power to begin manifesting in the outer world, one last step is necessary. An act of courage that seems simple but is the most difficult of all, the act of letting go. It is the moment when you stop fighting and allow the universe to finally begin to act in your favor. The sign that the universe has begun to act. You forged your power in pain, and your inner compass has been recalibrated. Now, there is a decisive moment that determines whether you remain in the old cycle or move forward into the new. It is the point where the struggle must cease. For too long, your mind has tried to control every outcome, plan every step, foresee every danger. This need for control, while it may seem like a survival strategy, actually blocks the flow of universal energy. The universe is waiting for a single signal from you, the act of surrender. Letting go doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It's the opposite. It's an act of immense strength and trust. It's looking to the sky and saying, "I did everything I could. I fought, I learned, I grew. Now I trust the cosmic intelligence that brought me here to guide the rest of the way." It's declaring that your part in the battle is over and that now you allow a much greater and wiser force to move the pieces on the board on your behalf. It's the transition from struggle to flow. The moment you truly let go of the need to control how and when things should happen, something magical occurs. All the energy that was trapped in your anxiety, your fear, and your resistance is released. This energy doesn't disappear, it's redirected. It becomes the fuel that drives the change you so desire. It's like trying to push a river. As long as you push, it resists. When you stop pushing and get into the boat, the current carries you. Thoth, as the great regulator of the cycles of time and the seasons, signals that your winter season, the phase of introspection, struggle, and preparation, has officially ended. The spiritual alarm has sounded, marking the end of the long pause and the beginning of action orchestrated by the divine. This is the turning point. From your moment of surrender, the universe is no longer waiting for you. It has begun to actively work for you without the limiting interference of your ego and your fears. You may feel this change as a sense of lightness, as if a weight has been lifted from your shoulders. The worries that once consumed you lose their power. The need to have all the answers disappears, replaced by a calm confidence that everything will work out in due time and in the right way. This is not a feeling of apathy, but of supreme power. It is the power of someone who knows they are no longer fighting this battle alone. From now on, the invisible force that governs the dance of the planets and the blossoming of seeds begins to reorganize the circumstances of your life. Things are starting to fall into place in ways you couldn't have planned. But how do you know this is really happening? How can you be sure it's not just a wish? The universe, in its wisdom, will begin to send you proof. It will leave visible traces in your path. After you let go of control and allow the universe to take over, the invisible begins to communicate with you visibly. The change that has occurred within you needs confirmation in the outer world, and this confirmation will come through subtle signs. In the coming days and weeks, your attention will be magnetically drawn to small coincidences that are, in fact, coded messages. Pay attention because the universe whispers before it shouts. You will begin to see sequences of repeating numbers: 111, 1 on the clock, 222 on a car license plate, 444 in the value of a purchase. Don't dismiss this as mere chance. These numbers are one of the simplest languages the spiritual plane uses to say, "We are with you, keep going." You might also think of someone you haven't seen in years, and suddenly that person calls you, or you run into them on the street. This is not a coincidence, it's synchronicity in action, showing that your thoughts are beginning to align with physical reality. The answers to the questions you've been silently asking will begin to appear from unexpected sources. You might be listening to a song on the radio and the lyrics seem to speak directly to you, resolving a doubt that has been troubling you. Or perhaps you open a book to a random page and the phrase your eyes find is exactly the advice you needed. Thoth, the messenger, is using all available channels to guide you and show you that your prayers have been heard and are being answered. Don't doubt these signs. The logical mind will try to rationalize them, calling them confirmation bias or mere chance. But your intuition, your soul, will know the truth. Each of these events is a breadcrumb left on the trail to keep you on the right path and strengthen your faith. They are proof that the gears of destiny have finally turned and that the door that was locked is now opening. Recognizing these signs is fundamental, as it is what keeps you vibrating at the frequency of confidence. These initial manifestations are delicate, like the first sprouts emerging from the earth after a long winter. They need to be nurtured with your attention and your belief. Each time you acknowledge a sign and give thanks for it, you are saying to the universe, "I am seeing, I am hearing." Continue. This strengthens the connection and allows even greater and clearer signs to begin manifesting in your life, preparing the ground for the great revelation. These clues confirm that the key you forged has finally found its lock and begun to turn. The door to your new reality is unlocking, and what lies on the other side of that door is not just an improved version of your old life. It's a completely new reality based on a truth about your path that was hidden all along. The revelation that your journey was never the labyrinth you thought it was. The impossible happens, the revelation of the straight road. Now that you recognize the signs, it's time for the great revelation, the moment when the impossible becomes possible. Close the eyes of your mind for a moment. Visualize the path of your life up to this point. You probably see it as a chaotic labyrinth, full of unexpected turns, dead ends, painful detours, and long periods of stagnation. This is the view from the human perspective, limited by time and the perception of the ego. Now, ask to see this same path from the perspective of Thoth, the guardian of cosmic order. The image changes, the fog of doubt and fear dissipates, and what you see is shocking in its simplicity. The path was never a labyrinth. It was a perfectly straight line all along. Every curve, every dead end, every obstacle was an optical illusion created by your own limited perception. You were always moving in a straight line toward your destination, but you believed you were lost. This is the truth that Thoth reveals. Order was always present, even amidst your apparent chaos. The something impossible that was promised isn't a miracle that defies the laws of physics. The real miracle is the shift in your perception. It's the moment you finally understand that the universe was never playing against you. It wasn't testing you or punishing you. It was guiding you with absolute precision along this straight path. And each challenge was, in fact, a necessary course correction to keep you on track, even when you tried to stray. This understanding changes everything. You stop looking at the past with resentment and begin to see it with gratitude. Every person who hurt you, every situation that challenged you, they were not your enemies. They were agents of the universe in disguise, fulfilling the role of keeping you on the right path, even if it hurt. They were the wrong way road signs that forced you back onto the right path. Reaching your destination is not a random surprise. It is the logical and inevitable consequence of every step you took. The impossible happens when you stop fighting the flow of your own life and align yourself with it. It's when you realize that the happiness, abundance, and peace you sought weren't in some distant destination, but were available at every step of this straight road, waiting for you to simply open your eyes to see. The destination is not a place you arrive at, but the awareness you acquire during the journey. You were walking with your eyes closed, stumbling in the dark, believing you were lost in a dense forest, when in reality, you were always walking on a paved and illuminated road. Thoth brought you here to give you the glasses of clarity. Now that you can see the road, the next step is no longer a leap of faith in the dark. It is a conscious and deliberate step towards a future that you now know has always been yours. And to seal that future, you need to make a declaration. Seeing the truth of the straight path is liberating, but knowledge alone doesn't move mountains. Faith, in the tradition of Thoth, is not a passive feeling of hope. It is an active decision, a decree. Thoth, as the creator of the written and spoken word, taught that language is the tool we use to shape the energy of the universe. The cosmos doesn't respond to maybe, to I hope so, or to who knows someday. It responds to clarity, to conviction, to the certainty of an issued order. Right now, you find yourself at a crossroads. On one side is the familiar path of doubt, the voice of your conditioned mind that says, "This is too good to be true. What if it doesn't work out? I don't deserve this." On the other side is the path of decree. It's the path where you use your power of choice to align your will with the will of the universe. You can continue being a spectator of your life, or you can pick up the pen and sign the contract with your new destiny. Choice is an act of power. It's a decree that echoes throughout the universe. It doesn't need to be a complex ritual. It can be a simple phrase spoken with your whole being. A declaration like, "I accept my power. I choose to believe in my journey. I decree that my new time begins now." When the heart finally makes a decision and the mouth declares it with authority, the invisible receives a clear instruction. The intention that was only a potential becomes an order to be materialized. Think of it like a real seal on a document. Until the seal is applied, the document is just a draft. Your declaration of faith is the seal that validates your new future. Trust is the fertile ground you've prepared throughout your journey, but your word, your decree, is the seed that finally activates the germination process. Without the seed, the most fertile soil in the world will produce nothing. This act of declaring your belief is your final signature. By doing this, you are taking responsibility for your creation. You stop waiting for salvation to come from outside and acknowledge that the power to initiate change has always been within you. This ensures that the manifestation of your new reality can no longer be delayed or sabotaged by your own doubt. You are giving explicit permission to the universe to deliver everything that was already reserved for you. This decree is not a one-time act, but the beginning of a new stance towards life. It is the decision to live from certainty, not hope. And once this decree is made, the universe initiates one last, crucial process before the final harvest. A cleansing process that may seem uncomfortable, but is absolutely necessary to ensure that your new territory is ready to be occupied. The final cleaning before the great harvest. After you decree your new future, the universe responds with immediate action. But before the abundant harvest can arrive, the field needs to be completely cleared of all the weeds and debris of the past. If, recently or in the coming days, you have experienced or will experience sudden losses, unexpected farewells, or situations that seem like a step backward, don't panic. Understand that this is not a sign that things are going wrong. On the contrary, it is proof that your decree has been heard. It is the final divine cleansing. In Egyptian mythology, Thoth also acted as the judge in the court of Osiris, where the heart of the deceased was weighed on a scale against the feather of truth. What was too heavy, what was no longer useful, was discarded. Similarly, your spirit, in preparation for the new life, is weighing everything that is part of your world. Relationships, habits, jobs, beliefs. Everything that is not compatible with the vibration of your new self is being removed. This cleansing process can be uncomfortable. Letting go of people or situations you had a connection with can hurt. It may feel like a loss, but you need to trust that this removal is an act of love from the universe. It's space being opened so that the new can enter. If you try to cling to what is leaving, you only prolong the discomfort and delay the arrival of what is rightfully yours. Cleansing is the guarantee that your new cycle will be filled only with blessings, and not with the burdens and debts of the past. Imagine a farmer who needs to plow the land before planting. The plowing process turns over the soil, pulls up old roots, and exposes stones. It seems destructive, but it's what makes the land fertile and ready to receive new seeds. Your life is being plowed, the final resistances are being removed, energetic blockages are being dissolved, and the atmosphere of your reality is being purified. Trust the process, even if you don't fully understand it right now. The time for planting in the dark and waiting with uncertainty is over. The soil of your life is now cleared, plowed, and ready. The seed of your purpose, hidden beneath layers of fear and conditioning, is finally receiving the sunlight. It is about to break through the surface in a way that will be undeniable to you and everyone around you. What was hidden in the background is coming to the main stage. You are not on the verge of loss, but on the threshold of the greatest harvest of your life. Each element that was removed was one less obstacle between you and your destiny. The clearing is the final sign that the waiting is over, and now with the field cleared and the seed ready to sprout, there is nothing more between you and your new reality. The portal is no longer in front of you, you are passing through it. The inner journey is complete. The long night of the soul has come to an end. Pain has been transmuted into power, vision has been aligned with the truth of the straight path, trust has been sealed with the decree, and the field of your life has been cleared. Now there is nothing more to wait for. What was once a promise, felt only in the silence of your spirit, now becomes your concrete and lived reality. The invisible becomes visible. The portal to your new time is not a future destination. You have already crossed it. The success, peace, abundance, and fulfillment you sought are no longer coming your way. They have already arrived. The shift in reality is not a future event, it is happening now. What changes is your ability to recognize it. Therefore, look around you in the coming days, not with the anxiety of hope, but with the calm of recognition. Observe the doors that open effortlessly, the right people who appear at the exact moment, the feeling of flow and ease where before there was struggle and resistance. You weren't lost in a labyrinth, you were simply being guided, with your eyes closed, along a straight path. Thoth, the divine messenger, led you to this message not to give you new information, but to give you permission to finally open your eyes. And when you open them, you will not see a different world, but the same world in a completely different way. You will see the magic that has always been there, the order behind the chaos, the love behind the fear. Your external reality will now begin to rapidly reorganize itself to reflect the immense transformation that has occurred within you. Don't be alarmed by the speed of the changes, just accept, receive, and give thanks. You have been preparing for this moment for a long time, even without knowing it. Each challenge was training, each tear was purification. You are ready. You no longer need to fight, prove, or deserve. You only need to be and receive. The feeling that something impossible has happened will be your new normal. What your old mind considered a miracle, your new consciousness will recognize as the natural order of things. You have aligned yourself with the flow of the universe, and now the universe flows through you. You are no longer a boat fighting against the current, you are the current itself. The journey is not over. In fact, it is only beginning. But now, you walk as a master, no longer as an apprentice. Remember this moment, the moment you understood that you were never alone, that every step was guided, and that the power to create your reality was always within you. Thoth's message has been delivered. The seal has been broken. The door has been opened. Now walk through it and take possession of the kingdom that has always been yours by divine right. You have arrived. Welcome to the first day of your new life. If you've made it this far, to this final point, know that this is no coincidence either. It's confirmation that your consciousness was ready to fully receive this message. To seal this journey and declare your readiness to the universe, leave the following phrase in the comments. The impossible is now my reality. If you felt a calling to help this channel grow and spread more content like this, there's a way to contribute more directly. In the first pinned comment, you'll find a link to support our work. Any help you can give is very important to me and to the growth of the channel, allowing this wisdom to reach more people who need it. But understand that the simple fact that you watched until the end is already a huge help. If this message resonated with you, share this video with someone you feel also needs to hear it. And before you leave, the journey doesn't have to end here. A special video has been prepared for you to take the next step and delve deeper into what has been revealed. Don't leave yet. Click on the video that's appearing on the screen now and let's meet there.